When you hear people in Ada, Oklahoma talking about animals, they're probably talking about the ECU Tigers or the Ada Cougars. But there's one animal that everyone seems to forget about that actually died right here in Ada, Oklahoma, and is buried somewhere right here on campus. Some might say it's a diamond in the rough.
There used to be a lot of circuses around here, and every winter they would come here to stay because it was warmer. And so one year during the winter, Diamond was part of a circus that was staying here, and she passed away. Um, and the East Central was still a fairly new university at the time, maybe 10 years old. And so the biology, science, and science professors thought it would be a good opportunity to retrieve Diamond the elephant, her body. And so they had this idea to bury her or to put her in this special box to where she'd decompose and then they could use her skeleton and all that for scientific research. But it backfired on them because the box didn't work, and so the smell was really bad, and people started complaining. And there's even, it said somewhere like the chickens started dying around campus, and so they had to bury Diamond the elephant because of public outcry. People were upset with the smell. So the plan was to bury her and then in a few years pull her back up and put her skeleton on display. Unfortunately, shortly after she was buried, we got into World War I, so a lot of people left campus, and a lot of those people, moved on. And then after World War I, stuff happened. We got into the Depression years, and we got into the years of World War II, which also the campus barely stayed open. And so, shortly after World War II was over, some of the then older alums remembered, oh, hey, we never buried, dug up Diamond. Unfortunately, by that time, though, when they realized they had forgotten to dig her back up, they couldn't find her. So they looked and they looked, and according to everything that I've read about Diamond, she was just buried on the edge of campus. And so it's important to remember at that time, campus really consisted of Science Hall, which is still here today, and then land around like where the administration building is now. That's pretty much campus. So, and I think it's in the eastern edge. So we're talking the hillside, basically. So that's a big area to try to search. There's been a lot of construction over the years since then. And I'm surprised that Diamond hasn't been found. When you look at the education building was built on the east hillside. The library was built on the eastern hillside. The Memorial Student Union was built on the eastern hillside. So really, to me, I don't know where they dug when they were looking for her, but the places that would still be obvious would maybe be where the education parking lot is on the hillside, or perhaps that slope going down to Pasagi. But who knows if she'll ever be found. I don't know. I think it'd be neat if she could be found. And as we keep growing as a campus and construction keeps going on, hopefully one day she will be found.
I've heard stories that it's over by the chapel or beside the chapel when people were touring ECU. The tour said that it was somewhere near there.
So the legend of Daisy is she's buried somewhere on campus. But I've been around long enough, I heard some stories, and I think this painting is a clue. And the story goes that when they were building some temporary buildings back in World War II, they actually dug up part of her, and the bones wound up in the art department. And in this painting done by Carolyn Taylor back in 1963, which is really abstract, if I take it and I flip it, now you can see a recognizable duck decoy down here, and then a large set of bones in the background. I'm no anthropologist, but there's a big set of bones, and it could be Daisy. And that's the story anyway. And it's a good enough story, I'm going to keep telling it. So that's all I know.